Good morning, and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I am Paolo Sparti. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm joined today by Service Associate Karen Griglak, and today's music is provided by Carmen Sandheim, on piano with Debbie Larson as our song leader. Today's tech team is Larry Sherwood and Paula Zimmerman and Charlie Morris. As I say the welcome words today, I invite you to really take in these words and imagine how it might change the way you interact with those you know and those you are just getting to know. You are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of the languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, sizes, gifts, and challenges that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here today. In all the ways that you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In the ways that you make your living and the places you are from, you are welcome here. In all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you are away, nor how soon you return, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with a curious mind, a loving heart, and willing spirit. We welcome you today. We acknowledge that the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many native peoples lived here freely on this land for millennia before white settlers. And we commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond these walls. If you are new here, we're glad you found us, and hope that in this community, whether you're with us in person or virtually, you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Please come back a few times to really get to know us. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those on Zoom can check the links in the chat to help you get connected. Those in person can stop by the welcome table in the foyer for the fellowship information or our newcomer form. It's also on the QR code in the back of the hymnal. If you would like to view a simple order of service for today on your phone, please scan the QR code on our screens now, or click on the link in the Zoom chat. Everyone on Zoom is welcome to stay for casual coffee hour following the service, and if you are here in person today, you are welcome to coffee hour in the fellowship hall. If you're joining us on Zoom, please feel free to greet each other in the Zoom chat. And if you're a newcomer, let us know so we can greet you. We love to know who's among us. Those of you in the sanctuary, if you have not done so already, but would like to, feel free to write a joy or concern in the book in the sanctuary, as we also take a few moments to greet each other. As I ring our bowl again, please follow the sound into a moment of silence and meditation. Let's light our chalice. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me as I light our fellowship chalice. So we know where all our chalices are, please write in the chat, chalice lit in, and the name of your town. Please say the words along with me as I light our chalice. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
Good morning, I'm Karen Griglak. I go by she, her pronouns. People have been fighting for what they have and what they've always known and for what was comfortable to them, despite new science, new ideas, and clearer ways of thinking since forever, since the beginning of people. Socrates has thought to have said, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." So obviously not exactly a new idea. We also might choose not to look at wisdom from unlikely places. We go for, the Socrates and, our Buddhist mystics and things like that. We don't often go to a WWE fighter from Canada with Indian parentage. But Jinder Mahal, who is just such a gentleman, goes, "My transformation represents more than what is just skin deep. It represents my motivation, drive, and my willingness to constantly improve." No matter how yesterday went for you, we have a chance to try again today to be a better version of ourselves than we were yesterday. No matter how tomorrow went, we get to try again. And if today doesn't go that well either, all signs point to we probably get another shot at this tomorrow to try again. So we're going to take a minute to enjoy some more music this morning. Carmen has an instrumental version of Smile that she arranged for us. And Zoomies, I'm going to tell you early that you're also welcome to add any joys or concerns that you might have to the chat as she plays. And if any of you in the room have any joys and concerns that you would like to add to our book in the back of the room, it's by the back doors, you're welcome to do it while she plays. Thank you. So I come from a hugging family, a big hugging family. It also meant that growing up, if someone wanted a hug, it was not an option to not give them one. It would have never crossed my mind that some people aren't huggers. And that might be for any number of reasons. Maybe someone only wants a hug from family or people that they really know well. Or it might be they just don't feel like it today. Or they're not a fan of being touched by people in general. It might be that they were forced to hug someone growing up that made them uncomfortable or worse. It wasn't until I went to college that someone brought it to my attention that not everyone wants a hug, and that no one has to take a hug if they don't want to that day, or ever for that matter. I never realized that being forced to hug someone when you don't want to goes against my bodily autonomy, my right to say what happens to my person. I'd never realized that I actually have a say in this. I'd also never realized how damaging this can be, especially to kids. Go hug your uncle. I don't want to. I don't like him. Go hug him. Don't be rude. Well, kids want to please adults and not to be rude, so they learn to hug people, no matter how uncomfortable it is or how bad the consequences. It's why I try to always remember to ask if someone wants a hug or if they're a hugger, and why I've told my in-laws that my nibblings never have to hug me if they don't want to, and it's not rude. Nibbling? Yes, you heard that word right. What is it? It refers to my nieces and nephews and all of the gloriousness of anything in between those two binaries might be for them. It was brought to my attention one day when I referred to my nieces and nephews that there might be a word that's more inclusive for them. I, of course, argued that none of them had said that they weren't just my niece or my nephew. And that person reminded me that why would they tell me if they weren't? Or why would they indicate to me anything different if I didn't seem like I was a safe person to talk to? Because my lines were drawn in the sand, very straight lines. So I listened, and I agreed. I love my nibblings, and they don't have to hug me if they don't want to. So I listened, and I let the water wash away those lines in the sand, and I try to draw new ones, squiggly ones, roundabouts, just like life actually is, all squiggly and roundabout, regardless of whether we hug it out or not. Now I want to invite us into our time of community connection and our time of sacred sharing. If you're on Zoom, feel free to continue to share a joy or concern and write it into the chat window, and I will read them aloud what you share, and Paula will add a stone to the water. And while I'm not one who typically offers up prayer, I do offer up a blessing to all of you on Zoom and here. And this blessing is by Abby Willowroot. Bless this day. May this day be blessed with gifts, lessons, understanding, and friends. May my energy be a gift to all I meet. Let me be centered, healing, and open. May I face the day with courage, kindness, insight, and compassion. Blessed be. I want you all to please remain seated and join us in our meditation on breathing as a pastoral hymn this morning. The words will be up there, and if you would like a hymnal, it's number 1009 in the teal hymnal, and you please join along with us. Thank you.
As we sing this, I think it works best if we come in the order of first the drone line, which if you're looking at the hymnal, it's the breathe in, breathe out, not necessarily that note. And then so we're going to sing that through twice, the drone, and then the melody line, when I breathe in, that'll come in and be sung with the drone. So if you feel solid on the drone part, stay on it. If you want to switch to the melody, go ahead and move to that, and we'll do both parts twice. And then the third part would be the descant. When I breathe in peace. So that will be added on all together. So everyone will be singing everything all together, and then we'll back out also. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Usually there's more than one person leading this, and then we all chime in. But let's just see how it goes. You've done it before. Thank you. Just go ahead. A little slower. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Let's keep doing that. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. Now we add the melody. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Keep going. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Now back to the melody. Breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love again. When I breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Now let's just do the drone. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Keep going. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, the half plate is for the Emergency Family Assistance Association, or EFA. EFA is building a community where all of our neighbors can meet their basic needs and springboard themselves and their children out of poverty. For over 100 years, EFA has served as Boulder County's safety net, working in collaboration with volunteers, donors, partners, and participants. They ensure our community has access to food, housing, and other resources to move toward financial stability, resilience. When families thrive, our community is stronger. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you're at the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously, as you so often do. For the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world, and for EFA, we dedicate our offerings. So this is the theological reflection, or part of the theological reflection on UU Shared Values by Sherry Prudhomme. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I had to look it up. We adapt to the changing world. One of our hallmarks of liberal religion, Unitarian Universalism included, is the idea that revelation is not sealed. That is to say, our religion can and will be changed by the discovery or unveiling of new truths and new ways of understanding all existence and the sacred. At its core, then, our theological heritage proclaims an abiding openness to change. From our early roots in Unitarian, or Universalist and Unitarian Christianity, through the blossoming of humanism and ongoing dialogue with scientific developments, to the re-emergence of a sense of spirituality in creative interplay with humanism. Process theology, liberation theologies, and religious naturalism, to a religious pluralism that embraces traditions and practices emerging forms of organic multi-religiosity, of the Unitarian Universalist today. Unitarian Universalism has evolved in the context of a changing America and global society, and in response to new insights from an ever-widening circle of voices and perspectives. In a way, that mirrors the openness of our tradition. As a whole to change, Universalists and Unitarians also understand every person not to be fixed in belief, capacity, or ethical orientation. Early Unitarians and Universalists moved away from the Christian catechism as the primary vehicle for religious education towards an emphasis on drawing out the capacities, insights, questions, and understandings of children and adults. This orientation to religious education continued through the 20th and 21st centuries. In a spiral-like fashion that is never perfect and never finished, we pay attention and learn from experience, reflect on its religiosity supported by an engagement in religious community, respond and act in the world, and repeat the cycle. Our religious communities at their best are places where we grow our capacities to be with experience in all its complexities and paradoxes, to listen deeply to one another, to allow ourselves to be seen and held in love, and to respond creatively and collectively. Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, Emerita Professor of Theology and former president of Starr King School for the Ministry, has asserted that the spiritual practice at the center of Unitarian Universalism is education. Transformation characterizes the Unitarian Universalist religious life as we grow spiritually and ethically through our lifespan. So I'm going to try something a little different this morning. And I'm probably going to make mistakes. I also welcome feedback, as long as it's offered constructively, with love at the center. Transformation. Listed on our shared values as we adapt to a changing world. But how exactly? Is it just that our religion adapts? Maybe. Maybe the dictionary can give us an idea. Merriam-Webster, an act, process, or instance of transforming or being transformed. I don't know about y'all, but that sounded a bit like defining the thing by the thing. So what is transforming? I think the most applicable definition is to change in character or condition. And what are we transforming? We're transforming ourselves and the world. Transforming ourselves into better versions of ourselves. And transforming the world we live in to hopefully a better one. And the transformation of our religion as we learn and we grow. So I want to tell you a little story here. This was my first year getting to go to General Assembly, and to ministry days, which if you're not sure what that is, ministry days is the stuff that aspirants and candidates and ministers get to do before GA starts. I was super excited. I actually got there several days before anybody else I knew. The weather was kind of dismal the first couple of days. It was rainy and foggy and steamy hot. And I walked, the hotel I was in was a little ways away from the Hilton where all the things were happening. And so I walked several blocks, getting to know the city a little bit, and noticed something. One day, I'm walking, the first day I'm there, I'm walking down the sidewalk, and there's this giant piece of cardboard that's sort of balled up, laying across the sidewalk. And I think, oh, I should probably put that in a dumpster or a recycle bin. So I walk over, I bend down, and suddenly I realize that there's a human inside it. Thankfully, I didn't grab the cardboard, and I walked away. The thing that struck me was that a lot of the folks that were unhoused that I walked past in Baltimore, they laid flat out across the sidewalk. Not under eaves or awnings, not up against the building trying to take some sort of shelter. They just laid almost motionless across the entire sidewalk. And I remembered stories that I had read about people who were unhoused, who talked about the things that bothered them the most were not that people didn't give them money, but that people stepped over them and that they ignored them, that they looked the other way. So I made a point to walk around. And the next day, as I'm walking back towards the Hilton, the same man is lying across the street in the pouring rain, and there is no box. And my heart broke. So on my way back to the Hilton, I thought, I really get that this is about me in some ways, but I want to take that guy a cup of coffee. I just feel like I'd really like a warm drink. So I went upstairs, grabbed some free coffee from the hotel coffee pots, and I walked back. I also told someone where I was going before I did it, because you never know. And so I walked back, and I said, excuse me, sir. And I didn't get a response. So I leaned down and tapped him on the shoulder. This startled him a little bit, and I didn't know what else to do, so I just said, hey, man, would you like a cup of coffee? I brought cream and sugar, too. And he looked at me, startled, and said, no, I'm good, thanks. And I was just sort of stuck there for a second. Are you sure? And he said, yeah, I'm good, thanks. And so I left. I don't really drink coffee, so now I had an unwanted cup of coffee. And I'd brought sugar, which I don't drink, or I try not to eat anyway, so I had sugar I didn't need. And I went back to my hotel room, and I sat them on the table and kind of pondered this. I was absolutely fine with the fact that he didn't want it. That's why I offered it in the first place. Maybe he doesn't drink coffee. But I was a little disheartened that, like, it didn't go anywhere. I get home and I ask my therapist, or I tell my therapist about the situation. And he has a lot of experience working with unhoused folks. And he said, would you like a little, like, suggestion on maybe how that could go in the future? And I said, sure. And he says, it's probably a good idea to ask first. And then the other thing is, go get yourself a drink. And or the same drink, maybe 2 of them. Bring them back, black, and offer them either one. Because, it suddenly dawned on me, I wouldn't take coffee from a stranger either. And this takes, like, hey, here's 2 black coffees. If you'd whichever one you want, you're welcome to. And bring all the fixings, right? And after this, I had kind of a little realization. And that was that if you dare to step out of your comfort zone, you will make mistakes. And a lot of the time, the things that keep me from going out and doing what I think is right, or really trying to help others, is fear of making mistakes. I might get it wrong. What if I say the wrong thing? But then I never end up doing anything. And then I started thinking about this from my own perspective as being part of the queer community. What we really need right now are straight cis allies. But I hear so often, well, I could make a mistake. I could say the wrong thing. I might not do it right. And that's okay. We need people being willing to make mistakes so that they can learn from them, so that we can be better allies. And the uncomfortable part is how we grow, as long as we take the next step, which is listening and learning from our mistakes. Now, I hear that a lot, and I never quite understood it. Part of that is that it's about the defensiveness that we knee-jerk do when we were just trying to help and someone corrects us. It's the ability to turn that defensiveness off and truly hear what the other person is saying. So how do we do that? I know this is going to sound really trite, but take a beat. Maybe that's a breath. Maybe it's sleeping on it. But listen before you respond and give it a second. Also, it's telling our inner critic to shut up, to go take a long walk off a short pier. This is easier said than done. I get it. Like, I've got a very active critic. But when we say to ourselves, was it a case of I just didn't know what I didn't know? Could I have learned this beforehand? Is there a way I can educate myself more? But also, don't stop doing because you don't feel competent enough yet. A lot of how we get competent is the doing part. Can you analyze what you got wrong and say, where did I go wrong? And how do I do better next time? That's a big thing for me in how I turn off that, oh God, I got that wrong. It was terrible. I'm a horrible person. Is saying, all right, but what am I going to do next time? And for heaven's sake, don't dwell on it. You made a mistake. If you're learning from it, great, move on. And seeing the correction as an opportunity to grow, to transform. That's really the way that we turn all that noise off. So let us have the courage to make mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and each other. And in this way, we will transform ourselves, our religion, and our world. So our next hymn is Soon the Day Will Arrive. It's 146, and I'm assuming that's in the gray hymnal.
I just want to say one thing I appreciate about being a hymn leader is learning new hymns. So this is one that I wasn't familiar with, and Karen said that I picked a good one for you, which is great. And I think we get comfortable with hymns that we sing over and over and that are comforting to us. We have our favorites, and I think it's great to break out of that and learn something new. So this is new to me. Let's sing together. I would say rise, and please rise in body or in spirit as you're willing or able. And the children will
And now, will you say the words with me as we extinguish our chalice? We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Please don't leave yet. We have some Tracy Chapman music by Carmen and a benediction. Oh, did we? Announcements? Announcements?
We have no announcements.
Okay. I invite you to link arms, hands, or hug yourself for the benediction. Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long and we can bend it towards justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice and in the wider world and in our daily lives. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives.